Hi, this is Angela DeWitt, and this is my vodcast about some of the copyright issues that are in schools, along with some of the other issues. After reading these articles, there were a lot of issues that were brought up that I noticed in schools that I've worked in the past, and so I took some notes just to highlight some of these things. Um, Students and teachers are breaking copyright laws, and I don't think that they realize they're doing it. And I put or care but I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't think teachers are copying things and saying, I don't care that I'm breaking copyright laws. I think they just think, well, these resources are out there. Why aren't I able to use them for my class? We already spend so much of our own money buying things from our classroom, using this worksheet or this test that I found online. Um, should be okay for me to use, even though technically it is copywriting. Um, After reading these articles, I wanted to learn more about the fair use policy for teachers, so I went to this website, educationworld.com, and they had basically it broken down really easy so that you could understand as a teacher what the copyright laws are for you. Um, I found that you are allowed to copy one chapter from a book, and I know even in my own education there have been teachers who would copy more than one chapter if you needed to take it home and read it, or if they just ran out of books. Um, I know some teachers that copy whole books. Um, Another one would be that you can't use poems that are more than 250 words. You have to limit it to that. I don't think that in seventh grade, at least, which I teach, we've even read any poems that were longer than that. Um, I found it interesting that you can only use a single chart, graph, or diagram or a picture from a book, and that would be only one. I'm sure teachers have been using more than just the single one. Make multiple copies of different works as a substitute for the purchase of books. We read novels this year, and we had found on the internet electronic copies of the novels, which we linked students to that were free online um, because we didn't purchase books. So we had a couple hard copies in class, and then if they needed to read it at home, we linked them to a website that had downloadable ones. So again, I'm not sure about that. It's posted online, so can you use it? Is it copywriting? That confuses me a little bit. Copying the same work for more than one semester, one class. So I was thinking about this. If I use a worksheet this semester that I used from the internet, can I not use it next semester? I mean, teachers make binders full of things that they find. Um, Copy the same work more than 9 times in a single semester. So again, these are all kinds of copywriting issues that I don't think teachers really realize when they're making their photocopies or finding things on the internet. About posting documents on a website, I have a website, so if I find a worksheet online, am I able to post it to my website even though I didn't create it? I did purchase a unit from Teachers Pay Teachers, and that teacher specifically said, do not post my work to your website unless you have a password protected website. So that's why I put password or no password. To me, it seems like it would just be simpler if you had a password. It would keep other people out of taking your things, as well as protecting yourself from things that you might have used from the internet. One of the articles mentioned copyright or commercial loss versus copyright infringement. I think that a lot of people think, well, they're not losing any money by me using this worksheet. They've posted it online. I'm just going to use it. I'm not making any money. They weren't making any money, so there's really no problem there. When technically it is copyright infringement. So I think people get confused. They always think of the monetary issue instead of just using work that doesn't belong to you. Another thing that came up was the online service provider liability. I personally think that service providers shouldn't be liable for any illegal activity that the user is doing. We have all of our students in grades 6 through 12 on computers. Their parents sign consent forms um, stating that the school is not liable for things that they do. I feel like there are just too many computers to try and be responsible for everything that everybody goes on. Our parents in our district do use our computers because the students do get to take them home, and so I just don't think that the school should be liable for anything that is done by these users. I just think personally they should get a warning if something comes up that they are doing that is illegal, and then I would just say disconnect their service. Obscenity came up in these articles. Like I said earlier, we do have the parents sign consent forms. We have website blocking programs that help police what the students are doing. Everybody knows that not everything can be um, blocked from the internet that's inappropriate. I did like in one of the earlier modules that said if something comes up, notify your teacher, close it as quickly as possible so that you don't get in trouble. I had a student one day that was finding an image for a vocabulary word, and the word had some questionable pictures that came up on Google Images. He let me know, closed it right out, and we used a different form of the word to look it up. So I think that that's pretty safe to do when it comes to obscenities. Privacy, with social media and everybody telling you everything, including what they eat for dinner, where they are, there's no way to keep everything private about you private when it comes to the internet. We went to a conference just recently where we went into a session and the opening activity was to Google yourself. And I think that we were all very surprised at what came up about ourselves. One of the teachers that I went with, her voting history was posted. It even came down to who she actually voted for was listed. So I don't think students really understand that once you put some of these things out there, they're really out there forever. We should be teaching them things. They should be having the opportunity to Google themselves and see what's out there about themselves, and just teach them that once it's out there, it's out there, and this could cause problems for you later on, whether it be college or jobs, since a lot of those institutions are looking at Facebook pages and Twitter feeds and everything like that. I put the last section down here as music and videos. Our students have music and videos on their computers. They have iTunes. When you walk by and they're listening to music, you can see the whole list of it on iTunes. I have personally thought to myself, how did they get these? Were these songs and videos downloaded illegally? Did they purchase them from iTunes? I see a lot of students using the KeepVid website where they go to YouTube, they find a video that they like, and they will actually go to KeepVid to save it on their computers. Again, copywriting comes in, especially with the articles that we read about file sharing and movies and such. I did a soundtrack project. We read a novel, and the students had to choose songs that related to different events of the book. And I made it extra credit to add the song because I really wanted the students not to be downloading songs illegally for my project. So I told them you don't have to have the song. If you want to add the song, you can for an extra bonus point. That way I specifically wasn't encouraging downloading music illegally. If they had the music on their computer or whatever, I personally kept myself out of that. I do think, though, that students should be taught that even getting videos and music from some of these websites and keeping them on their computer could get themselves into trouble with copyright issues. I don't think a lot of students understand what copywriting is, what plagiarism is. We've talked about it before. They, even as many times as we've talked about it this year, they still seem confused. One of the websites that our high school uses is turnitin.com. That's something that I'm going to look into for next year, just so that the students can see what actually pops up when their papers are inputted into this website. So in closing, I think there are so many issues in schools, especially districts like ours that have many laptops, computers, and that are technology based, because I don't think the students understand fully what they're doing when they download songs or take information from the internet. And I don't think teachers understand either, that they're just thinking, well, it's on there, I can print off this worksheet, is it copyright infringement or not? So I think there are a lot of issues that still need to be worked out, especially in the digital age that we are in. Thank you.